Good afternoon. My name is Travis Bryant here in lovely city of Kansas City. And there's some things I wanted to talk about, kind of help us grow and progress as we go through our interpersonal journeys. The topic today is something that's very dear to my heart. And again, if you have any feedback, I would love to hear it. Today, we're going to talk about the power of empowerment. The power of empowerment. Now, if you've been to any motivational speaking engagement, if you've been on Facebook or YouTube, this thing about empowerment and being self-motivated, you hear a lot of that. And a lot of it is emotionally stimulating. Feel better about yourself. If you think better, you'll feel better. Those things aren't untrue, but there is an element of empowerment that's often overlooked. That element is something that we all have to learn to master if we really want to begin empowering ourselves. And the first one is rejecting victimhood. I know this is a hot topic. I know it's a sensitive topic. The Me Too movement, all these allegations have come out about women being raped. And so if you've been with me thus far, you know I'm really big on definition. And in this context, when I say victimhood, I'm not talking about the things that happen to you, because there are certain things that we can't help. If someone forces themselves on you and you're just not strong enough, you can't help that. And tragic things happen all the time. And many of you are survivors of that, and kudos to you. But at some point, you have to look at that tragedy and decide what you're going to do about it. We walk around with these open wounds, triggers, these open nerves, and we do our best to protect it. We will wrap it in silicone, and we'll tell no one to touch it, and we become extremely aggressive when someone comes near it, but we don't really deal with it. You have to deal with your tragic moments. You couldn't help what happened to you. You have full and complete permission to decide how to deal with it. And whatever you decide, live with that. The idea of rejecting victimhood is very simple. It's simply saying, I understand what happened, and I am separating that from what I'm going to do about it. I understand what happened, but I'm separating that from what I'm going to do about it. Why is that separation important? Whatever happened, whatever the tragedy is, that stimulated an emotional response. And that's what makes it so heavy, because the emotion is tied to it. You have to be able to separate. This is not about not valuing your feelings, because feelings are important. But feelings can't dictate what we do about it. And many of us have had tragedies. And because we don't want to go through the hard work of having to deal with it and address it, we just throw a cast on it and tell no one to touch it. The problem is this: in life, things are going to touch you. If you've been bullied, that's not just for school, that happens in corporate America too. If you haven't dealt with those feelings of inferiority, if you haven't really dealt with that, and you just want to create this cast, you'll find yourself in the corner somewhere, completely not participating in life, just to protect that open nerve. Some incidents require a Band-Aid, some require surgery. And for those deep, tragic things, that takes surgery. And then, with surgery, it's a process. You get cut open, they have to go in, move some things around, sew it up. Then you have a healing process. Then you have a rehabilitation process. It's hard work, but it's worth it. It's going to get you walking again. It's going to help heal that wound. Rejecting victimhood is being intentional about healing your wounds, because they're your wounds. This is very tough truth, but the world doesn't owe you anything. We live in a capitalistic society. It's all about your production. And unfortunately, if you're allowing your wounds to keep you from producing, you're going to have a very hard time in life. You have to deal with the tragedy. You have to reject the victimhood. This happened to me, but this is not who I am. Yes, my father beat me, but that's not who I am. And yes, I have to deal with that, and I will deal with that. But that's not who I am. You can't define yourself by tragedy. You're stronger than that. You have to be. You got people depending on you. You got people who look to you for inspiration, and you don't even know it. I surprised someone I think it was like last week. I was on the phone with them. I was like, you know what? You're brilliant. I've always respected your brilliance. They were in awe. I had no idea. You're inspiring somebody. And that example you offer them, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to them. Deal with that thing. Deal with that thing. What happened to you may not have anything to do with you. But what you decide to do about it, that has everything to do with you. Make sense? Like I said, if you have any questions, comments, I would love to hear from you. I love you guys. Remember, our relationships are our most important resource. Make sure you're managing yours. Again, this is Travis Bryant. I'll see you guys soon.